Happy New Year. Welcome back to the Total Pile podcast. It's been a long time. I'm back from Central America. Brock's here.
Hello, hello, hello.
There he is. Classic stuff. Hope everyone had a great holiday season. I know I did. Do anything crazy on yours, Brock?
Nothing at all.
There you go. Hey, just, family and hanging out. Nothing wrong with that. That's all I did, except for I just went to Central America. So nothing crazy on that trip, but it is gorgeous. I prefer it compared to this 7-degree Midwest, BS right now. It's not great. I'm freezing. And I got sick really fast. You can't hear it, but I'll randomly cough and mute myself. But hopefully I get it in time. So we missed a lot. A lot of card reveals, a lot of tournament results, both from our format and Japan Champions League. So we're going to talk today about Toronto, talk about a little bit of San Antonio. I know Brock's going, I am not. And then we'll mostly be deep diving into the new stuff from Osaka's Champions League, because I think that's more of a fun topic with the rotation coming up and some prismatic evolution cards getting involved. Mainly just one, but there's a lot of new decks that could hopefully impact San Antonio, and we'll preview that more in depth next week based on some online results and some PokeHive data. But we just want to go over it as a whole, kind of a short and sweet Happy New Year type of thing. So glad you're here with us, and we'll hop right into it. Brock, I know a lot of people from Memphis, or I think 3 or 4 went to Toronto. How'd they do?
My buddy Brandon Joestar placed 17th.
Nice.
So
Did
very well.
On the Raging Bull, huh?
Yeah, he went undefeated in day 2 after coming in at 6-2-1 and then bubbling at top 16.
Yeah, because asymmetrical cut was 7-1-2.
No, it was basic. I think it was just Kieran.
Was he the only asymmetrical cut? I can't remember the exact number.
I think it was 9.
Yeah, because I know it's not really X and 2 anymore. That's the main thing still. Like, cut is still not X and 2, but a heck of a run from Brandon. That's sick. I still wish Limitless was able to get that data. I know it's hard to find. You could probably go to like Trainer Hill or something and find that data of who Brandon played against and what record, and then compare it to the deck list. But we just need a place where it has the full results. I know RK9's got it in there buried. If they can get deck list, we can get match history too. You know what I mean? Anywho, so no shocker here. Reggie Drago dominated again, and congrats to Calvin Connor winning the whole event on a swinging. I don't want to misspeak on the attack name. Sphene. On a swinging Sphene flip here on the Lowlands Executor. Super cool moment. A lot of emotion, and I appreciated it. Because winning a tournament like that is a big deal, So props to Cal. And also, I don't know if you saw this or not, he recently signed with Team Labyrinth, which I know of Team Labyrinth because there's a member here in my local area for the Lorcana team, and they're mainly a Lorcana team, but he was the first not Lorcana player to join Team Labyrinth. So I thought that was super cool, and it just shows, like, I guess orgs, I don't know what to call it, like teams, expanding card games, so shout out to them. Super cool dudes. I don't know Calvin personally, but I know his Twitter, and so seemed like a really cool guy. Any thoughts on Cal winning it? I think you've talked to him previously or know a little bit more about him than I do.
Yeah, I got some friends who are close to him, and he's been having like some family trouble before that event. I don't know what the extent of it is, but I know this one meant a lot to him. He's gotten so close so many times, and for someone to work as hard as he does within the game and it finally paying off, it's awesome to see. And for him to show the emotion on his sleeve, it's great for the game.
Yeah, like he finally gets his first regional win. I know, what is it? He got 9th with Gardevoir last year. Before asymmetrical cut was real. Like I know he had those really deep runs with Snorlax a couple times. You can see here on the screen, multiple day twos, multiple caches. Like he is one of these staple players now on the tour, if you want to call it. He's won. I mean, like this even says it here. He's won over $55,000 in 2 years playing Pokemon, which is incredible. Like, or I guess is that 2 years? Is that all of it? I don't know. Career stats 55.
That's all of it.
That's all of it. It's the 2, 2, 1, 110 does not equal 55. My bad. But super cool. Definitely attends a lot of events, does very well at all of them. For the most part, it seems like if he just would stop playing Snorlax stall, that'd be cool. But yeah, so back to Regidrago a little bit. There's what, 8? 1, 2, 6 in the top 8. 9 if you count asymmetrical cut, still just the 4. Other than Grant Shen bubbling asymmetrical cut with Regidrago as well. Like it's just that, it's still just that guy. Nothing's really changed. None of the lists have got any different either, which is kind of sad. I would wish there was more innovation.
It's evolved a little bit, but pretty much the 60 or 50, 58 cards are solidified.
Yeah, I would even go to 56. Like it's just like this one. This is the most interesting one, cutting down to 1 Dragapult. I think I don't know how many people did that overall.
They're all at 1.
Are they all at 1, and I just missed it? That's crazy.
It's all at 1. Basically, your changes are if you play 2 stadiums or if you play Terror. And now there's even further innovations past that, but
yeah,
it's kind of, it hasn't been solidified that it's correct for the current iterations.
Yeah, I see if you're only going to play the 1 Dragapult, like what's the point in playing a Terror Orb? Like obviously Nest Ball still gets you Teal Masks and all that stuff. So like,
well, it's just for Teal. It's just to boost your consistency.
Sure.
Overall.
Yeah, for sure. So I can get that trade. Canceling Cologne still very primary in all the lists. Manaphy is just good. Iron Thorns is just good. Like it's nice to cancel an ability for a turn. So we'll talk about the other stuff that makes it to day 2. We also had a Raging Bolt Ogerpon, which you would think would do really well. I don't know what happened in top 4.
He lost a cow in top 4.
Yeah, but do you remember how? Did he just not?
3 energy Radzard into 2 or into 1 energy Radzard.
Yep, that would do it. Yeah, single prizers are not fun. I can't wait for Radiant Pokemon to rotate. You can't. So pumped for it. But yeah, nothing crazy in these lists either. I do like the 2 Bravery Charm compared to, I think, what Caleb played 4 in Louisville the last time we saw. Played 3 in Louisville. I know it was a higher count. Pokemon Catcher is still good. Coin flips are still cool, right? Like that's just Shreks and Next for you. Nothing too extravagant there. But then we have a Pidgeot control list, which also popped up here. And we have not seen Pidgeot control for a while, but I can't think of a better format for it, to be honest. It's got the new Kyurem in here that automatically paralyzes a Dragon Pokemon, which is really good in a Drago. Makes sense. It also plays the Mawile and Toedscruel in here, which is probably my favorite part. Toedscruel's insane. And then the Regieleki to recycle trainers, and that's pretty sick. Now, I don't know if this is right or not. And this is a weird question in general. Does Toedscruel shut off the Regieleki from if your opponent played it? It does. Oh my god. Cards in your opponent's control can't be put into your hands by effects of your opponent's abilities or Pokemon. That's a weird one. That is tough. But they also have the Genesect in here. No A-Specs. Pretty good if you're playing Control. I still don't get why people would play it in Turtle Cloth. But Genesect in this list, you're controlling your board. You know, like that makes sense. Okay, I don't get Reset Stamp. I don't get Prime Catchered. Whatever I have active stays active type of thing. Any thoughts on Pidgeot control? I don't think have you dived into the deck a lot, or
not this iteration of it. I've done some testing in the past with Pidgeot control, and I personally don't think Snorlax can survive in the current meta, because its Drago matchups like so outfavored if Drago's decent.
Yeah.
So there's just like this is like the only control variant that you can really reasonably play right now. I don't think it's great right now, just because I've played against a couple and they still just don't beat Drago.
Yeah,
So it just feels weird.
for sure. I do like the added. I mean, I think Snorlax plays this too now, but the 06 machination. How you do that?
Machination.
Yeah, they gotta think about it. They could have just done anything else. I don't know. And machinations. That's a weird one. Anyways, making your opponent discard half their hand if it's really loaded, which it normally is when you're playing against these control variants. That card is just really good. It happened to me at locals like a couple weeks ago before I left for the holiday. And yeah, it's a really tough spot on which cards to keep, which cards to not, depending on what's in your hand at that time. Super cool card. Everything else on this list doesn't seem very new. It's all just the same. I like the Roseanne's backup a lot to get back tool cards and your stadiums and shuffle back in resources. One thing in this list that does stick out, there's no Silene in here. Like, I think that's what the Roseanne's backup cut is for. But like, I don't know. Like, you have the Regieleki, you have the Roseanne's backup. That should be enough to recycle everything. Yeah, I know you just said you don't like this. You hate Snorlax more than this right now, but both are kind of in a weird spot with Drago. Like, is it just easier with Snorlax overall as a control deck though?
Yeah, Snorlax is turn your brain off, put Snorlax in active, and you don't really have to do much besides mill them.
Yeah, for sure.
This you have to actually like Pidgeot control. You just have to be very prepared for what you do, because like almost every card in here is a one of, especially like you play more of the sport accounts, and all of your Pokemon are like one ofs.
Yeah.
And just being able to know what to grab off Pidgeot every game is or every turn is also just difficult. And
Yeah.
also the fact that they're playing the secret box compared to Hero's Cape. There's no more bailout button with the Hero's Cape anymore. So
That is a good point, because like normally what would happen is they'd put, I remember that, what was it? I can't remember who it was. They had the Charizard Pidgeot control. You would just throw Charizard up front with the Hero's Cape and just be 430 damage, just beef.
Lucas Zing.
Oh, well, I think I was gonna say. I think I might have said Brandon in my head, but either way, yeah, the Hero's Cape being gone's pretty interesting. But they got the Defiance Fest and the Bravery Charm, so that's still not enough. I mean, if you misplay it, you could easily get one shot by a Drago with Giratina or Dragapult or what. If you misplay in this deck, like you said, like it's much harder to recover from compared to a Snorlax. So you can just stretch or nest ball another Snorlax or Mimikyu back into the active.
Well, what Drago does is they just spread a bunch of damage everywhere, so your counter gain and counter catchers don't turn on for the Black Serum.
Yeah, because you are only playing 3 energy as well. That would be tough. That would be very tough. Yeah, enough control talk. I'm not a big control guy. Cloth in top 16 as well. 2 of them with the Terapagos. I didn't see anything crazy in this list. It's just the same old, same old. The more I play against it, the more I like the Oranguru. It's just so good to get 2 tools, especially in such a tool reliant deck. Your thoughts changed on Trolley at all?
No.
No, yeah,
like the whole deck is just like it's like a 4-card combo to be able to play the game.
Yeah,
I'm just not a big fan of that.
yeah. The secret box is probably. I mean, I prefer Trolley, and obviously my favorite deck, Dragapult Iron Thorns, because I don't need the secret box for a lot. But like, secret box just gets you everything as well. So, yeah, because it gets you nest ball, stadium, tool, everything. So interesting call. But there is so many Pokemon in here. The Regidrago, is that new? Was that new to me? I haven't seen it. The one that draws the 4.
It's been so it's been in and out of turtle-based decks since Turtle was a thing. Robin Schultz played it at one of the European regionals, in like Turtle Dusknoir.
Yeah.
So it's not surprising that it pops back up in this
especially with
that.
Latios.
It's basically just a
Yeah.
guarantee that you have pieces at the end of the game. Yeah, you just can't evolve it until you actually use the V-Star, because Latios can't retreat it.
Oh no, I'm talking about the little one, the one back from the Reggie's deck. This one here.
Oh yeah, no, that one.
That's got to be a new include too, right?
That one, no, that one saw play in Perth. This is probably the exact same, or very, very close to the 6th Perth.
Yeah, it's close
because they
to
cut
it.
the Genesect.
They did cut the Genesect.
They cut the Genesect for it because it gives you extra draw power.
Yeah, I mean it's a better Mew, and I mean I guess that's the wrong term. I guess no, it is a better Mew. Draw until you have up to 4. Restart is draw until you have up to 3, and it's only a 1 prize Pokemon instead of 2. So there's no free retreat, but you have Latios in play, so that's not a bad shout whatsoever. I don't mind that change at all. The glasses is still so funny to me. You need the glasses for the Electrode. To do any type of crazy damage on Charizard, but yeah, Turtle Cloth is still pretty cool. I like it a lot. And then I think that was all the decks I wanted to talk about with Toronto. Anything you want to hit on? There's still Charizard, still some Dragapult, a lot of Lugia, but we're at that point in the format where it's like we've been doing this format for almost 6 months now. Like, are we going to be almost, or at least 4 months in, right? Because I
was about to say this is our forever format.
This is the forever format window right here. And so not a lot of new innovations, but still cool to think about and tweak before a tournament, right? Like, do you play Klefki like Gardevoir did, right? Like, it's just like there's a lot of things that.
Gardy's been playing Klefki.
Yeah, I'm just like more people play Klefki
They're
now.
slow. Oh, Gardy is slow Gardy now. You're not playing really rare.
Yeah, there's no more rare candy version.
Back to
the box order, bro. The box order Gardevoir is still crazy. All 3 of these players, Michael Davidson, Benny Billinger, and Joshua Frink, all played it. It's a day 2, so same 60. There is a Roaring Moon in here as well. It's more of a turbo based build. I love the new Koraidon in here. For those of you who didn't know of the new Koraidon, it's 30 plus 150 if an ancient Pokemon attacked during the previous turn. I think this one's clearly better than the old one that was Dragon type, and it was like 30 more for each ancient Pokemon in play. Especially in this more turbo type variant, I think it's just so much of a nicer 1 prizer response, especially if you only Calamity Storm something to keep your HP. But still super cool. Nothing crazy in this list either. 3 catchers, Pokestop, shoes. It's your classic Turbo Moon. Did pretty well. Anything that surprised you from Toronto before we move over to Osaka?
Nope.
Just a quick shout out to Stefan Ivanov running back.
Everything's pretty standard.
Except for Stefan went back to Palkia Greninja. I love that. I didn't know that. That's super cool. Dusknoir play seems pretty weird right now. Not a lot of things are playing Dusknoir. I think people just learn how to play around it a lot better. Any thoughts on Dusknoir real fast? No?
I'm not a big fan of it right now.
Yeah, it just seems weird giving up prizes in such a 2-prize tradey format. It's Dusknoir. I think it'll come back to power once the format slows down.
There's only the only deck that can really take advantage.
Yeah, for sure. And most Charizard lists, are they still playing it? 1-1-1. Yeah, there's a 1-1 line, literally 1-1-1. So
that's 2-2-1-1. But yes.
Yeah, I think it's cool. Well, let's get to the more fun stuff. I can't wait to talk about this. I watched it extensively from Azul's stream. I did not see the final, which I heard was pretty crazy. But I haven't seen anything on the final yet. But our Chaladon Dialga taking down the whole tournament. And there was how many players? Oh, I'll go back 2 spaces here. There's over 5,000 players in Osaka. One can only dream of being able to have a 5,000 person event. And this list is just super cool. And I hope it translates over to here because there's not a single new card from Prismatic Evolutions in this list, and I hope it does well. But our Chaladon accelerates 2 steel energy to, I think it's any Pokemon or one of your steel Pokemon. 2 steel energy to one of your steel Pokemon in any way you like. Also does 220, and then during your opponent's next turn, this Pokemon has no weakness, so like you don't have to worry about Cerulege just running around. But anyway, our Chaladon taking out of the whole thing. I believe, if I remember correctly, it's best of 1 up until top cut, or what do you remember?
It's best of 1 all the way through.
All the way through. Oh man, I have to go back and watch the final then. So, super cool list. Any thoughts on our Chaladon Dialga?
I mean, it's our Chaladon. You take 80-20s and you take 10-90s.
Yeah, I think the big thing this deck has going for it, obviously,
the reason this deck did so well is because there was basically the whole tournament was based around Badoo, and this deck doesn't care about Badoo.
Correct.
This deck's gonna do what it does because it plays such a high score count, so it doesn't really care about the Badoos running around, and it just does what it wants to do every turn.
Yeah,
but I'm not a fan of the deck at all.
I think it's super cool. I think we needed a deck that was very, I hate to say Turo reliant, but it feels like we haven't had a deck and cover type of deck in a long time, if that makes sense.
I don't think this deck translates to America, though.
I hope it does. I think the Turo play is so cool. I played against one in a cup.
If it did, it would have already translated.
Yeah, for sure. But then again, like there's always that surprise.
This is the same 60 of someone who top 128'd one of our events.
Yeah, it's very, very close to a list like that. I remember, it had to have been Toronto, right?
I think it was Louisville.
Maybe this wasn't out for Louisville. Our child on Surgery Sparks.
Then Sacramento.
Oh, Sacramento. There it is, Sacramento. You're right. I do think this is the best utilization of Turo we've had in a long time. The ability to have 300 HP on a stage 1. Like, I know we have V-Star still, and 280 is pretty high, but 300 is just that much harder to hit. So Turo in this deck is really cool because it just puts your energy back in your discard pile, and then you just re-evolve a Duraludon on the bench and re-accelerate those energies back onto it. And then the Relicanth is just so cool. Super Scoop Up will not see, or Scoop Up Cyclone does not fit in any other deck that I can think of in the format. But this just seems like it's a lot of fun to play. Obviously, as soon as this won, I put this into live and played a few games with it, and it's just fun to play. It's definitely a different type of deck than what we're used to here in the States and EU for that matter. The second place list, though, was pure Ancient Box. No Turbo Moon, playing 4 Great Tusks and 4 Fluttermane. Not a single Koraidon, which kind of bugs me now that I see it out loud. It does have the inclusion of Monkey Dory, but like I'd have to see it play out more. I don't think there's enough stuff. It just prevents Dragapult, right? And Badoo damage. What's your thoughts on the Monkey Dory and Ancient Box?
I think it's there for Regidrago because how they beat it is they just spread a bunch of damage.
130 a couple times, yeah.
No, they just they Drago and then they go cure them and take 3 on one turn.
Oh, because you can set up a Dragapult damage and then do 130 spread across mold. Okay, that makes more sense than in my head. We talked about it a little bit. Blender's a new card technically from Surging Sparks. I think Secret Box is just better, but like this is a very go fast type of thing. If you can Blender all 4 Great Tusks and 1 Fluttermane to the discard pile, I guess there is maybe like 1 or 2 off scenarios you want to try milling your opponent with Great Tusk, but like I feel like it's all moon heavy in this list. So Blender seems weird to me. Where are you at with Ace-Specs on Ancient Box?
Yeah, I think you play Secret Box and it's not a question.
Yeah, I think Secret Box is just so good because you still get to discard 3 cards, and most of the time you're picking Ancients anyway. Overall, though, super cool to see Ancient Box back. A lot of people thought this deck was just off the face of the earth because of Dragapult and all this stuff doing just 200 round damage. And so good to see a good finish out of that. And then we have Palkia Dragapult in third. Nothing crazy in here. There is 2 Bidoof, though, which is a new card. This is the item lock Bidoof that is 0 energy, 10 damage, which was in a lot of decks. Obviously, it wasn't in the first 2 we just talked about, but Bidoof was very popular in Japan, and I think it could be a real shakeup overall to our format, even before rotation. Thoughts on Bidoof?
I think it was very much overplayed in Japan, but in decks like Dragapult and Charizard and these like slower decks that should already be playing a Cleffa-esque card, I think it's really good.
Yeah, I think it is, like you said. I think you nailed nailed the nail on that one. I don't know what I was trying to say there. Either way, it was definitely overplayed. I think the rest of the top 16 played, but at least one Bidoof. And then that also changed to the supporter count in a lot of decks. At least this Dragapult one. I can't remember the last time I thought about putting Lance in Dragapult, but like it's ball search that's able to be played through Bidoof, and so there's the change for the Lance on that one. But this is also classic Dragapult. Goes back to the 4 Dracloaks, 4 Dreepy, 2/1/2 Dusknoir line. I like the Cleffa in here too, just to stop like teal masking and other basic abilities. And you don't have any basic abilities anyway, besides Fez and Radiant Alakazam, which are very situational. Which most of the time you won't have Klefki in play if you took you got knocked out first. But super cool list. I wonder where Dragapult ends up going, because obviously it's not translated well besides at Dortmund, and then I think it was Gdansk or whatever the SPE where Mads played Iron Thorn Dragapult. But other than that, it just has not translated well to the States. Any change in position on Dragapult? Because it is the best attack in the game. That's why Regidrago is so good right now.
Well, Regidrago Regidrago's kind of back to like just Kyureming every turn, and if you can Kyurem every turn, you win.
Yeah, for sure. Kyurem's broken. That's for sure. But if we're talking just like the big EX attackers, I guess swinging Fiend might be better.
No. I've cut Executor from my list. But Dragapult itself is I think it does get better with the Bidoof, but I think so does Charizard, and it's one of those things where until rotation, I don't know how good Dragapult actually becomes. But post rotation, I think it gets boosted up to like A tier, low A tier, but I think it is one of the better decks post rotation, just because it doesn't lose a whole lot. It has a built-in draw engine, so I think decent post rotation.
Yeah,
pre rotation, my opinion really doesn't change. I think it's a clunk.
Yeah, it definitely is one of the slowest decks in the format, if you want to even call it in the format, right? Like, I mean, just like it doesn't have the teal mask drawing. You have to evolve into Dracloaks to start your draw engine. Like, that list isn't even.
Feels like a poor man's Guardy.
Yeah, and it's the same problem Guardy has too, is that if you're not playing the Manaphy, you could easily get Kyuremed and all your Dracloaks are gone. Right, like it's just like that's a fact of life. Unless you have a perfect setup, which can happen with Trolley, which I didn't even see this one play Trolley. If you have Arvin Troll, it played Crystal, so like it'd be incredibly difficult. I mean, I guess your optimal first turn is Lance into already having Evo in hand, or hope to have that with Bidoof active or Klefki active, and hopefully there's no gust around it. But yeah, it just feels like it's 1 or 2 turns off of being a really good deck. I still like the Iron Thorns version because Iron Thorns gives you that 1 or 2 turns, and I think it's the same idea with the Badoo and Klefki. But like that just seems like such a hard thing to start. Like if you don't start Badoo or Klefki with this list, like you might be in trouble. So like I don't know why that's not a higher count, especially because you want to go second in Evo and all that stuff. While we're talking about Dragapult, we're gonna talk about the pile of the week, and I won't even give Brock a chance to vote because it's Dragapult, Goldango EX. I don't even know how this can function as a deck. It really confuses me. I like the Monkey Dory though. It's an extra modification on top of Radiant Alakazam. Like other than that, I am confused and lost. I tried playing it online and I could not figure it out. Like this deck attacks with Goldango. It plays 2 superior energy retrievals, Earthen Vessels, Reset Stamp, and it's got 13 energy in here. So you could technically use both superior energy retrieval and hit for, what is that, 400? 50 times 8, yeah, 400. I don't know, man. Have you looked at this list or seen this list? Have you played it? That's the better question.
I have not played it.
Come on.
I saw, I think Azul played it. I saw somebody play it on stream, and the whole time they're just trying to figure out how do you consistently do anything. It's like whenever I see these things, I just realize like sometimes it's better not to look at Japanese results.
Hey, but
You're
like,
trying to
I get it.
predict what's going to do well.
Yeah, yeah, and this just shows it too. Like if you hit the right matchups and you go on a run, especially with Japan being best of 1 the whole way through, like nothing can stop you, right? If you're just on it that day, you're just on it.
Yeah.
It's the crazier part. Like a 2/2 Goldango line. I guess coin bonus is cool, right? It makes your hand a little bit bigger, and you do still play Forge or Cloak, but I just can't wrap my head around it. They got the 1 Lana's Aid too, which you could also put 3 more energy back into your hand, but it's a supporter for turn. It gives me a headache thinking about it, to be honest. It really does. It goes back to Reset Stamp too, so it's not even Sparkling Crystal or Trolley. Like I feel like this would just be a nightmare. I don't know. I can't figure it out. But Badoo's still cool, man. I mean, they do play the Manaphy, so like they force Drago to have Catcher and Cologne, which is pretty easy with what's the V-Star called? I don't remember what the ability is called, but Drago's V-Star power. It's whatever. But like the ability to just grab any 2 cards from your discard pile is super broasted, especially if you're not going to play the Toad Scroll. Yeah, I think that's enough Dragapult mind melting there for a while. This is the MVP of the tournament though, and it's Ceruledge. I love this deck. I think it's an absolute blast to play. It does play 1 Bidoof for whatever reason. It's just,
it makes sense.
I
You're
mean,
evolving up, so it makes sense.
yeah, but then you're also playing a 1/2 Palkia line with a heavy ball. Like it's just like you could just play 2 Palkia. Like if you, I don't know, but the Badoo thing's weird to me still, and hopefully it's not that prevalent here, and we'll see. But this is another deck that Brock kind of mentioned a little bit. Not that he mentioned Ceruledge, but he mentioned the high supporter count. It's a deck that relies not a lot on items, but more of 4 research, 1 Carmine, only 1 Iono, and only 1 Irida, and 3 bosses orders with a Pal Pad in here. Like you really want to just play 4 research, Pokestop a bunch of stuff, Pal Pad supporters you need back in your deck, and go fast.
I think what Badoo's gonna cause in the States here is just our lists are gonna look like a lot more during the GX era, to where we just play 4 research and 4 bosses orders,
Yeah.
and that's just kind of what our lists are gonna like. It wouldn't surprise me if we, by the end of all of this, we played 4 research, 4 boss, 4 Iono, and that's just the 12 supporters every single deck played. it would not surprise me at all.
Gotcha.
Minus like decks like this that play like one Carmine and like
One
utility
Irida.
supporters.
There's
like
gonna
that.
be like that.
Well,
yeah.
Irrita's rotating, but yes, I'm talking about like post rotation. Like,
Oh, sure,
it
absolutely.
would not surprise me if like our supporter counts just ended up like a 4-4-4 like it did during like late GX era or early GX era, late EX era.
And I like that a lot.
Big EX.
I do. I like that a lot. Because then every deck seems consistent and every deck is just kind of flying, but somehow the format still seems a little bit slower. I don't know if you feel the same way or not. I just feel like we are finding too many powered cards earlier, if that makes sense. I feel like I'm kind of going on a tangent there, but like it just seems like Greninja and all these like specific, like, I don't know. The main point is like there's no Regidrago in this entire top 16. And I think Bidoof is the result of that, with it being
Well, it's
so
because-
item based. And like,
I think it's because the whole top 16 directly counters Drago.
oh, for sure. And like, they all do well into Drago, for sure. Like Miraidon, Dragapult.
But they're all off meta.
correct. It's a definitely, it's even
Besides-
more diverse
besides
than we already
Guardian
have
Punch.
now. It's a much wider meta than we already have now, which is like 30 on the top and what? It's 5 to 10 at the bottom. Like I haven't seen the meta breakdown for
15, yeah.
Toronto, but yeah, like it's just like
It was 15 Drago, and everything else was Charizard was 10, Bolt was 10, and then everything else was 5s.
yeah, like it's a very wide format, and I think Ceruledge can survive. I don't know if it can survive rotation though. I think it's going to be an interesting play for San Antonio. I do like.
It's in the same. I think it's in the same spot as Big Moon, to where it
Yeah.
just loses too much. It doesn't lose like the core pieces, but it just losing Pokestop, losing in Big Moon's case, patch. I just don't see it surviving.
I think the big one too is Radiant Greninja. Like half the ability to be able to subspace or to star portal to Greninja and take 2 early knockout. That's huge. There was a second Ceruledge in here not playing Bidoof, but also I think this brings up a good point. I think Ceruledge could be the best use after Charizard of Briar. So like it doesn't matter if you knock out a Charcadet early, that's in their favor, because like you can hit 300 damage very easily with Abyssal Flames because of so many energies, and like this list is playing 3 Jet, 13, 15 basic energy types because they play Monkey Dory, so 2 dark, and then 8 fire, 5 water, and then 3 jet. Like you are hitting 300 relatively early and only needing 1 fire energy to attack every turn. That is very cool to me. I did see a list. I can't remember if it was online or in this tournament. There is a Victini that is, I think it's from Twilight Masquerade. It does 10 more damage to your fire Pokemon. Or for your fire. Oh, this is tournaments. Any cards. Victini. Nope, not that one. Dang it. It does like 10 more damage. Victini. Ah, yeah, this one. From Surging Sparks. It's got the Victory Cheer ability. Attacks used by your Evolution Fire Pokemon do 10 more damage. And like that's super relevant because the 30 is awkward. So it's 30 damage base plus 20 more for each energy in your discard pile. This just puts that math back onto an even number. So 280 is a little bit easier. 320 is a little bit easier. And so super cool kind of tech I saw over the weekend. This person didn't top 16, but they played the Victini in the Champions League. And so I thought that was kind of cool and different to mention that a card that we have that you could just slot in for the Bidoof for now until Bidoof becomes legal here in the States. The next interesting thing, I guess, is technically Lugia. It never really changed. They do play the new Regigigas from Prismatic Evolutions, and they put Drapion back.
Yes.
Like, I don't know why we're playing Drapion. It's technically a colorless attacker
hit
for
for
190.
It's to be able to Oko Big Guardy.
Yeah, but there's only I don't know the meta breakdowns for this tournament, but is Guardy really that back? There's only one here in the top 16. Like, is it that good to include?
Personally, no.
Yeah.
But that's what it was for, and that
For
they
sure.
confirmed that that's what it was for. I would almost just play a second Regigigas because I think the
Regigigas is so
it's a
good.
Terra. Never mind.
It is just
I
Terra.
I thought it was all EXs.
No, yeah, it's just Terra. But in a format like Japan where it's more Terra focused, I could see that.
No. It makes sense.
It does, for sure. Like, this is such a clean card.
I'd rather just play a second Chino line than it.
Well,
Personally.
this didn't even play Chino at all. It just played 2 Gigas.
Which one are you looking at?
I'm looking at the ninth, whatever the first Lugia, 8th place.
The second one?
No, the 8th place.
There's one that finished 4th.
Oh, did we not talk about the 4th place one? I must have just skipped right over it. It is, yeah. The 4th place.
I don't like this one.
It doesn't even play
weird.
the rats, bro.
That one's weird. I don't like it.
But yeah, there's 3 Lugia in top 16. Is the other one playing it too? I think the Gigas is such a cool card, especially with a more Terra-centric format. Like, that's
The
sick.
4th place list is where I one of the places I would start. It plays a Thornton, which I'm not the biggest fan of in Lugia.
Yeah. And then the 16th
and
one does play Thornton too. And
I'm not a big
Stantler,
fan of Thornton.
the weird ear.
The weird ear makes sense, but the Thornton does not make sense to me.
This also plays Drapion too, the 16th one. I
guess they're really scared of Gardevoir. That has to be what it is.
I feel like Teal Mask would just be better.
Teal Mask?
Or sorry, the Wellspring Mask.
Well, it doesn't kill Big Guardy.
Yeah, but
how you beat Lugia is you go Big Guardy.
Just all the time, Big Guardy all the time.
It's just Big Guardy Turo.
Yeah. Yeah, Lugia is Lugia. I don't know why they're playing Drapion, but like I guess it's cool if you're expecting a lot of Gardevoir. In best of one, you have to have everything, right? We talked about Dragapult Goldengo already in that little spurt there. The next deck in this after no repeats is Miraidon. And I think Miraidon is so good. I do. I think it's one of those decks. It will be the fastest deck in format after rotation, and it's still very fast now. Like, it's tandem unit, and it's Pikachu, and it's Area 0. After rotation, it does the Raichu V, but like, you still do 220 a turn. Like, you still have good attackers. Like, Miraidon's just Miraidon. And like, generators, if they hit, you're gonna be very hard to beat. If they don't hit, you're gonna have a tough time.
I don't think this deck's great post rotation, but it lives post rotation.
Oh, for sure.
The only reason I say I don't think it's great is because it loses Raichu.
And Raikou. It loses both the Vs.
The Raichu, I think, is the bigger one because Raichu helps you get to those big numbers.
Yeah, you're remember back in the day, even still now, like Charizard is a very hard matchup, and Raichu somewhat fixes it and doesn't completely fix it, and it definitely will be a big miss. And I'm hoping there's thoughts of it now. We'll talk about it with the new cards, but the Iono Kilowatt roll and whatnot with the attaching and drawing and all that stuff. That's for next episode. But so I'm hoping for another big lightning attacker we could throw into Miraidon. And then the last 2 decks are nothing crazy new, Gardevoir and Charizard. But the cool part about Gardevoir, they're playing Call Bell. I hope it continues to be a trend. I feel like it's just going to be 4 gear because gear does not rotate.
I think it's a meme. Yes.
But this plays 4 Call Bell and 2 gear, so they're chilling, dude. They're big chilling.
Sure.
Overall, nothing new. Not even a Bidoof in the Gardevoir, so props to that person for.
There's one thing in the Charizard that I want to mention.
Let's move on to Charizard. Let's go for it.
It has a thick line of Charizard and Pidgeot to play around the Bidoof because it plays Grand Tree.
Yeah, bro. Let's go with the tree.
I think post rotation you're going to be seeing this a lot more.
I don't know how good Charizard's going to be first rotation like this. And what's surprising to me is the fact that they're not playing a Badoo or a Cleffa.
Yeah.
Either one. Like, either one makes sense to me. But the fact that they're playing neither of them is kind of surprising.
I think the best part about this entire list, in the last pot we talked about, it plays 3 Charizard. That's your biggest attacker. He does the most damage. He's the guy. He plays 3. None of this 2-1-2 stuff. Okay, that's for Dust Snores. Okay, I need a thick Charizard
But
line.
also, just so you and everyone else knows, if you evolve a Charizard off a Gantry, you don't get to get the energies off.
Yeah, and I've been testing on the side Grand Tree and Dragapult, and it's a lot of fun because I'm gonna crisp it anyway, and then I can Grand Tree all the way up. Because I think it was JW and Jesse Parker who played Iron Thorns Dragapult at Toronto, and they played a rare candy just so they could skip an evolution, go straight to Dragapult. Like, obviously, if you're playing Iron Thorns, you want to play the trolley still. So it made me think, like, oh, hey, is Grand Tree good in Dragapult? And I like it. It's a lot of fun. It's not, I don't think it's better than the Iron Thorns Dragapult that I've been playing. But Grand Tree is a fun card. It's so good. It's Forest of Giant Plants for everything. And you can do it once a turn. So if they don't have a stadium bump, which even now in our format, the most is like, what, 2 stadiums or 1 stadium and 1 vacuum. And if they're not an evolution deck, like Grand Tree just sticks and you get to do it every turn. And it's only for 1 Pokemon a turn, right? I'm not crazy in thinking that, if I remember correctly.
It's only 1.
Yeah, search for a stage 1 and then a stage 2. And then you can do it once during each player's turn. So it is just Forest of Giant Plants out of the deck, right? And that's the craziest part. Because Charizard's ability is obviously evolve from hand, and then you get the energy acceleration. But if you're getting a Charizard turn 1 or a Pidgeot turn 1 for free with Grand Tree, and then you quick search for that piece for Charizard, like who says no, right? And then Grand Tree being a stadium gets around Bidoof, which is super sick. I'm surprised with us saying that, though. There's no Colress's tenacity. Obviously, because Regidrago is still a thing, like, obviously, like, that's why it is right now. But I think Colress's tenacity and Grand Tree become much better once Drago rotates. And Lost Box, for that matter. Lost Box itself rotates. But that's just more cards that say Colress on it. This is sick. I like this a lot. And there's no new cards in it. So the only new card that we talked about this entire Osaka set is Bidoof, which is crazy to me. I haven't seen even the full list. Obviously, it's a mini set here.
That's it. It's
it's
most
literally
of the
just
cards
Bidoof.
that I think it's like 37% of the set is reprints.
Yeah, which the Dragapult is so clean, and the Roaring Moon.
No, I meant like the normal cards. in
No,
the
I
set.
know what you're saying, but like, I mean, the alternate art is like, we'll just collector love for a second. Those artworks that they redid are insane. That's just, so I bought an ETB over MSRP because I'm gonna keep it sealed forever. But like, yeah, if you would just buy 2 Bidoof, like, that's everything you need from this set. If you do like to open it, I hope you pull all the Earthen Vessels and Pokemon Stretcher you need, because those are like still like crazy hard to find. But I have plenty.
I think
so I'm good.
I think there's a few other cards that might be decent, like the Black Belt Training and stuff like that might see a little play. But besides that,
Yeah, we'll get more into depth with Prismatic Evolution next week, because that set releases here on the 17th. And next week we'll also talk about some of the new cards that were revealed at Osaka. A lot more of the partner Pokemon are resolved. Iono's Pokemon, N's Pokemon, and Hop's Pokemon were introduced. So a lot of cards to dive into next week. We'll also talk about San Antonio a little bit, and we'll hopefully get a more look into the future, because I can't wait, because our partner set is the spring, which is going to be sick. And I love a good partner Pokemon. We talk about it way too much here. I believe that is every deck I wanted to talk about. Is that anything else you wanted to add with Osaka wrapping up?
Nope, I'm good.
That clears it with me. Really great episode. Thank you guys for coming back. I hope everyone had a great new year and a great holiday. And we will see you hopefully more on a regular basis. I'm back from my long trip. Brock's, always been here. It's more on my end, but we appreciate your patience and we love doing this. So we really appreciate your support. And with that, that's a wrap.
See ya.
There you go. Love it.